What's up, folkers? Snap Turtle in the truck. And y'all want to talk about some breaking news real quick before I get off into the real important shit. Looks like we have a new distraction, y'all. We have a brand new distraction in the wake of these shootings and the push to implement more gun control. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein has apparently committed suicide. Yeah. And you know, you think you'd want to jump for joy, right? This dude ended his life. A monster has passed away. You know, this monster is going out of this world. But it's really not good news because he was in prison. I mean, jail, awaiting a trial, which means that he at this point, he's not a threat to children right now. But what is important is that he had a lot of names to drop. A lot of names to drop. Don't think he didn't. You're talking about a billionaire who rubbed elbows with other billionaires and had a jet that would traffic minors to an island that other billionaire elite people would, go to. So what we have here is the death of a man who could bring down other monsters. The death of a monster who could bring down other monsters. And it's not good. So I'm not very happy he's dead. Now, did he really commit suicide? It's tough to say because he is a billionaire. He's used to a certain lifestyle and his world was just shattered, rightfully so. So now you have him sitting up in a jail cell on suicide watch, right? Not only did he commit suicide, he committed suicide on suicide watch. Okay? How do you pull that off? He hung himself. So when you're on suicide watch, you're not to be given anything that you could use to kill yourself with. Especially something that you can hang yourself with, right? So how in the hell did he hang himself? I don't know. Was he slipped something? Or was he maybe, taken? I don't know. What happened? Did a guard get paid to do something? Because you're talking about these billionaires, this elite cabal wanting the lid to be kept on the shit they're doing. That's what we're talking about here. And they have the resources and the money to make things happen. They've been doing it for years. They've been able to get children to this island and other places. They've been able to travel the world and mess with little kids, amongst other things, and push their central bank. So it's very simple. It's very possible that he could have been off by his elite buddies. I mean, come on now. He died. He committed suicide on suicide watch. Now, I was never in. Well, I've been in jail, but not. I've been in military jail for fighting. It's not quite the same thing as a civilian jail. But when I was in basic training, this guy tried to kill himself. He jumped off a second-story building and broke his legs. Right? An idiot. Right? You want to kill yourself by jumping off of something tall? Then you don't do it by landing on your legs. You head first. Anyway, from that point, he broke his leg. He was trying to get out. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what his intent was, because you can't really prove intent unless that person tells you what their intent is, and they have to be truthful. Anyway, this dude was put on suicide watch, okay? Because he jumped off the second story, okay? And, you know, so he had to have a suicide watch guy follow him everywhere. And he had to wear an orange vest, like an orange high visibility vest. And no one could ever let him out of their sight. So guys would rotate because, you know, it's not fair to have one guy watch this guy for 24 hours. But anyway, it's very hard. That's the point of suicide watch. It should be damn near impossible. Anyway, dude killed himself. You know, Jeffrey Epstein, he might have killed himself. He might not have. The point is he's dead. And that means that a lot of other people get away with the bullshit unless they raid his homes and find exculpatory evidence or something like that. Unless they find some, you know, a guy like Epstein might be the type to have something going where if I end up dead because of this situation while I'm in jail, a lot of evidence is going to get released on other people. So maybe that would happen. I don't know. But you would think that the people who would off him are smart enough to know that that might be a huge possibility. So this is a distraction, I say, because they're trying their damnedest to get rid of the Second Amendment. Okay? They're trying their damnedest. They want the Second Amendment. You got people running around talking about the Second Amendment needs to be repealed because it's old, or, you know, it's old language, and, you know, back in those times, you know, it was implemented for whatever reason. People are such idiots. You know, this is exactly why the Second Amendment was put in place by those people, for this very reason. To prevent tyrants from oppressing people and stripping them of their rights. That's why it was put into place. The Constitution is a living document, which means that it could grow with the times. It's the longest lasting constitution on earth. Like, no other country has had a constitution that has gone on this long. Okay? Some countries have had 17 constitutions within 100 years. Anyway, but I'm going to say this, and this is going to be the truest shit about the Second Amendment you ever going to hear. It's unimportant. It's unimportant. The Second Amendment. See, in the argument about what the Second Amendment means and what it does and what it protects and what it doesn't protect, is pointless. This is because the right to keep and bear arms as a means to defend yourself, as a means for sport, as a means for hunting, as a means for whatever the fuck you want to use it for, as long as you're not hurting someone else or stealing from someone else or destroying someone else's property, is really unimportant. The argument is unimportant. Simply because the Second Amendment does not grant the right to keep and bear arms. Neither does the First Amendment grant the right for free speech. Neither does the Fourth Amendment grant the right for to privacy, right? And your person's papers and effects. None of these things grant the right. The Bill of Rights does not grant your human rights. It is put in place to protect your human rights, to make it clear that these rights are inalienable, and the abuse and the encroachment and the infringement of them is unconscionable and should be met with the greatest amount of punishment. It's treason, okay? The Second Amendment does not grant the right to keep and bear arms. It recognizes it, and it protects it. So it doesn't matter. See, that's the whole thing. Everybody is, a lot of people are relying on the Second Amendment to hold up on, like you can place all your rights on the Bill of Rights. Like you just set your rights there and say, as long as these rights are here, as long as this piece of paper is there, my rights will be held up. No, it doesn't work like that. See, there are some rights that you have that aren't in the Constitution. It doesn't have to be. It's common sense. It's common knowledge. It's nature. Like, I have the right to dig in my nose and flick boogers. I have a right to fart in the air. I have a right not to be licked on, from behind by a stranger. I have a right. I have a right to go out and ride a horse. I have a right to, as long as I'm not hurting anyone, as long as I'm not encroaching on someone else's rights, as long as I'm not invading someone else's privacy, as long as I'm not taking from others and hurting others and killing people, as long as I'm minding my own business, there are millions of rights that you possess that aren't going to be in the Constitution. But these other rights in the Bill of Rights are in the Constitution simply because these are the most obvious rights that an oppressor or a tyrant might try to, violate. Like freedom of speech, they tell you freedom of speech is not absolute because you can't yell fire in the movie theater. Okay, even though it says in the First Amendment that there shall be no judgment or anything like that, or any law that would be put into place to violate the First Amendment. It's as far as yelling fire in the movie theater, or you can't yell fire in an airport, right? Or you can't threaten anybody. You can't threaten anybody. But people do it all the time without getting in trouble. Certain individuals do it all the time. Like Reza Islam or Aslan saying that all Trump supporters need to be eradicated. That's what he said. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially that's what he believes. But here he is. No one went to arrest him. He's still on Twitter. Listen. The freedom of speech is an absolute, even if you threaten somebody, you better be able to handle that threat. You better be able to back up that threat with action, as far as I'm concerned. Because ultimately it's the responsibility of the individual to protect themselves. So if I say that I don't threaten people, right? I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna do this to you, I'm gonna do that to you. I don't do it. I believe it's wrong. And I believe if you threaten me in my face with physical harm, then I'm gonna take immediate action against you, right? And that's what you have to be prepared for if you threaten somebody, right? Now, if I say that you should be arrested for threatening someone, you should go to jail for threatening somebody, right? Making terroristic threats, then you should go to jail. If I say that, then it's a slippery slope. Who is to determine what a threat is and what a threat is not? So, as far as that goes, yeah, I say leave it all alone. Okay, just like the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, I have inalienable rights. I don't need this. I don't need it to say. I don't need more. Making the Second Amendment go away is not going to destroy my right to keep and bear arms. It's still going to be there. I'm gonna still have the right to keep and bear arms. I'll just have to fight harder for it. You understand? Now, slow people dum-dums are going to believe that if you get rid of the Second Amendment, you get rid of the right to keep and bear arms. No. Nah, it ain't cracking like that. Just so y'all know. So the argument of what the Second Amendment meant and what it means and what it protects, irrelevant, because that right was already there. Now look at the guy in Missouri, right? Now Missouri is one of the most free states in regards to keeping and bearing arms, right? So this guy, Ryanchenko or Elianchenko, whatever his name is, Dimitri something, went into a Walmart days after the El Paso and Dayton shooting, and let's not forget the mass stabbing in Garden Grove, California. Okay, after all that happened, he wanted to go to Walmart to get some shit he needed, mind his own business. Well, he decided that he was going to put on a tactical vest. They called it body armor, but I'm with Brian from High Impact Flicks on this one. I know what body armor looks like. That wasn't going to stop nothing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't going to stop no bullets. Okay? It was a tactical vest, I believe, from what I saw. He had some ammunition, and he had two firearms loaded, right? One had a round in the chamber, the other one didn't. He went up in Walmart with a shopping cart. He was filming himself. He was basically doing a Second Amendment audit. He wanted to know if Walmart would uphold his Second Amendment rights. Or not his Second Amendment rights, his rights protected by the Second Amendment. Okay? Well, one of the team leaders or associates pulled the fire alarm and everybody's running around. And they got on the loudspeaker talking about some active shooter. This dude don't even have the shit in his hand. He has it on a sling. It's hanging in front of him. And he's pushing the shopping cart. Ain't no active shooter. Active shooter means that you're actively shooting. That the person is actively shooting. He wasn't doing that, okay? He was minding his own business. Missouri, you can open carry, conceal carry. It's a constitutional carry. So he doesn't need a license. He's walking up in Walmart. He's not threatening anybody. He's not pointing at anybody. He's not yelling at anybody. Then, all this panic is going on, so he leaves the exit. And firefighter, off-duty firefighter, backs him down with his own heat. The irony of that, right? Backs him down with his own heat that he probably had concealed, right? And was able to walk up in Walmart with. Well, needless to say, this dude was backed down by the firefighter. And the cops came in all their tactical shit, actually wearing body armor, with all their weapons, like Brian pointed out. You know what I'm saying? He's absolutely right. It's funny how the cops can show up with all they shit all militarized, and no one's feared. No one bats an eye. But what makes a cop more special? What makes a police officer more special than a regular civilian? Aren't they both human beings? Don't we all have the right to keep and bear arms? These politicians, they don't want you to have that right. They so want to get rid of that right. But this is the thing. Those same politicians are running around with armed security, armed cops around them at all times when they're out in public, like Rahm Emanuel. Not Rahm Emanuel. Who am I talking about? Beto O'Rourke. Hugging people after the shootings, right? He's out there hugging and had the show with, out in El Paso. Love. Meanwhile, he has three cops with rifles around his person. So I don't have three hands, right? I can only shoot effectively with one hand, but so I can't. I don't have the ability to have three guns around me with 360-degree security at all times around me. At most, I might be able to have two if I'm desperate. But this dude had at least three. Running around talking about gun control. Well, are you going to provide everyone with 3 armed security guards once you take away our guns and shit? So, this dude ends up getting arrested, and now they're charging him with terroristic threats. Because they can't charge him for carrying. They can't charge him they can't, because it's legal in Missouri. And this was proof this is proof positive by the fact that the firefighter was able to draw down on him. Firefighters aren't cops, right? So you see what's happening. He didn't threaten anybody. And I hope this shit just fucking gets thrown. Like, I hope the judge says, get the fuck out of here. He didn't threaten anybody. Look at the video. The dude that drew down on him, and he held up his hands like, okay, I got you, player. Don't shoot. I'm walking down this hill. My hands are up. It was no threatening posture whatsoever. How is he a terrorist threat? Anyway. So next time, if you are for your rights to keep and bear arms, next time somebody argues with you, argues against it, all you gotta do is say, look, I'm not arguing the Second Amendment with you. Because you could take away that Second Amendment and I'll still have my right to keep and bear arms. That Second Amendment didn't grant those rights. It protects them. It makes it clear to anybody reading this document, like, look, man, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Point blank and period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just like if you took the Fourth Amendment away. If you took the Fourth Amendment away, you think that you just be able to run up in somebody's house while they're taking a shower and open the door and just look at them up and down, but they can just start rifling through their shit? You think that stealing would become legal? You think the cops, you want to allow the cops just run up in your house? No, if they took away the Fourth Amendment, you would still have your right to privacy. Anyway, y'all, let's use our brains, okay? Come on. The Second Amendment is nothing but a declaration of protection. It doesn't grant rights. The Bill of Rights does not grant rights. Okay? No man has the power to grant or take away your rights unless you harm someone, and unless you have to harm people. I mean, you can't just, you know what I mean? If I'm not harming anybody, I should be able to do what I want. If I'm not harming the environment, if I'm not harming other people, right? I'm minding my own business. That's it. Anyway, hope y'all liked the video. Jeffrey Epstein's dead. That's not a good look. We want those names. Anyway, holla at y'all later. Peace.